Like for
Okay.
me, my pain was I blamed my dad for everything, and everything was his fault. And then to realize it was never his fault,
Mhm.
it was never his presence or absence that was
Yeah.
going to make my life better. And then to be able to say, oh, you had it inside you the whole time, that you could have made these decisions. You could have, did the work. You could have figured it out. But instead of doing that, you took your energy and blamed someone else.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Becoming Consciousness with Sharika. My name is Sharika Swaby. I'm also called the Mind Reset Strategist. I am a life coach who specializes in mental wellness and spiritual alignment. I am a trained mentor. I am a published author. And of course, I'm also a real estate agent and I host this show. My guest today is Timothy Moore. Now, Mr. Moore is a former member of the National Guard. He's a graduate of Southern University and A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And all of those college years made him into a IT specialist. But he's also the owner of Vision Writers, and that he's going to tell us all about that. But today we will be focusing mostly on his title as the Clarity Doctor. So, Timothy, please welcome to Becoming Consciousness with Sharika.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I feel conscious already just in the last 10 minutes. I'm here. I'm ready. Becoming
Well,
consciousness.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so when my guests come on, I like to get a little bit of their story out, right? Because it's all about connecting with people. And
Yeah.
I believe that telling that story helps people to realize that we're just all on different journeys. But at the end of the day, the goal is the same, right?
Yes.
So, would you mind telling us a little bit about you? Start with what kind of childhood did you have? Then I want to hear about your army days and then about your college days and so on.
Cool, cool. So, like she said, I go by the moniker of the Clarity Doctor. And that really came about just in my journey, just self discovery, personal development. And the biggest thing was, I grew up as the youngest, four children, and my mom and dad divorced at 8. And what that did is that made me full of blame. So I would always blame my dad's absence for everything that went wrong. So that's from relationships, from money problems to, just not getting along with people, just anything wrong. Oh, it's my dad's fault. If he would have been here. And so I just blamed him for everything. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really experience any real a feeling of success because of that, because nothing was good enough. Everything was just wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
then when he died about 3 years ago, I'm on his casket, just crying, bawling my eyes out. And I really cried for about 30, 40 minutes. Just, it was coming out. And then I realized that I was crying because I didn't have him to blame anymore. And I'm looking at his lifeless body. And so all I kept hearing is, so now, was it really his fault? Was it really his absence? Or was it just your lack of decisions or bad decisions? So at that point, I released him. I let him go. I said, okay, it wasn't his fault. It was
Mm-hmm.
mine. So I took ownership, and I kept hearing, write the vision and make it plain. And when you read it, you can run. And so I was like, okay. So I wrote down a vision statement for my life and literally just started following that path. And the whole trajectory of my life just shifted. Things just, I was happy. It was like I felt satisfied. I felt fulfilled because I was following that my own path that was, you know, burning in my heart. So that's what brought me to creating Vision Writers USA, and just becoming the clarity doctor, because I realized when you don't have clarity and the world is just a fog, it's just dark, that you'll jump from thing to thing, following every shiny object, anything that just looks it might fulfill you, you'll just
Yeah.
jump at it.
Hmm.
But you know, when you get that vision and you write that down and you just lock in and you say that's it, your life changes. So that's kind of the childhood, just full of blame. And so even with my business now, like it's really taking entrepreneurs or startup from blaming to blooming, and from excuses to execution. Because once you have that vision, that's it.
I love that. I love that. Now, what you said that you got happier the moment you took responsibility for your own life, right? But when you looked back, were you able to see what would have been different if you had done that when your father was alive?
Um, I think, not I think, if I would have been able to take that kind of ownership of my life earlier, there's a lot of things I wouldn't have done. You know, a lot of choices I wouldn't have made because I would have been focused on that vision and the path of my life. And I think a lot, you know, I did have vision, stuff that I wanted to do, but it wasn't strong enough to overcome other people's visions or what they thought I should do or should be or direction I should go. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was like, oh, okay, well, I'll do what you say do. I'll go with the direction that you have for my life or that you think you see. And that's
Mm-hmm.
really the main thing.
Right, right. So as a child, your dad left. How challenging was that for your family?
Um, you know, I can't say it was real challenging. I mean, I was 8. My mother did a really excellent job of, you know, having a safe, comfortable environment. So the only challenge was just being a kid with no dad, the
Mm.
typical, you know. So that in itself was the challenge.
Okay. So after you at what age did you join the National Guard?
So it was after high school. So I would have been 18.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat after high school for about a year, just deciding whether I wanted to go to college. My mom was like, you know, go to the National Guard. They'll pay for school, yada yada yada. So I was like, okay, cool. So I made that choice. Went to the National Guard. Chose to go to Southern because my older brother went to Southern. It's a HBCU, you know, historically black. So I'm like, yeah, let me go and get around some chocolate people, you know, because the Midwest doesn't have a lot. So I was like, all right, let's go be around some chocolate people. And it was a great experience. And just correction, I didn't graduate from there. I came back to Nebraska and graduated from Bellevue. Just
Okay.
I ended up getting married and moving to Germany. And so I did 8 years in Germany, got out of the National Guard, did time over there, and then came back and finished at university here in Nebraska.
So did you move to Germany because your wife was moving to Germany, or you moved to Germany because you were a part of the National Guard?
Because my wife was in the military. She joined the army that probably maybe a year after we started dating in college. So she
Mm-hmm.
joined the military, moved over to Germany. I sat, I left school, came back to Nebraska, my hometown, kind of waiting around for her to say, hey, come over here. So I wasn't sure if she was ever going to say, come over, which that's a whole story right there when I tell you that. But she finally did say, hey, I'm ready for you to come to Germany. So she sent a ticket. I went to Germany, and probably 6 months in, that marriage died. And I ended up staying in Germany for 8 years after she left.
Wow. What made you want to stay there though?
Well, heck, I'm here now. It's like, I mean, I'm not gonna just keep jumping around like that. I was only there like 6, 7 months, and
Mm-hmm.
she showed her colors what she was doing, and I was like, yeah, we're not having that. And then also at the same time, I was on my own spiritual awakening, and once I got there, pieces just starting to fall in together. I found uh, a church family that I fell into, and it was amazing. And I was like, you know what? I might not have been. This is why I really was here. It wasn't for you. It was to get this spiritual download. So that's why I stayed as well.
Okay, so you left after you left Germany. You spent 8 years in Germany. What were you doing there?
Um, Really, I was working. Like I said, just I found a great church. Was on a spiritual journey, so I just really immersed myself in that process of just change because I needed a change. So that whole time was just that awakening, discovering who I am, finding more about God, just learning things that I'd never even heard of, exploring the country, kicking it.
What made you return to the United States?
So I ended up remarrying after, so I would say about, so I was there from 91 to 2000. So after she and I split, about a year later, maybe two, met someone else who was going to the same church assembly. And we were like, hey, let's get married. But that was the wrong reason because I wasn't done with my process of healing, and that didn't last long. So I ended up leaving because we divorced. And so I came back
Mm.
to the States.
Oh, wow. Sounds like quite the story.
You
Um,
don't know the half.
all right. Now, okay, so now you're back in the United States, and what's happening? Hi, Joy.
Um, so came back to the US, just now trying to figure things out. Like it had been 8 years since being in the US. So now I'm just trying to get my bearings. How do I restart, reset my life? What do I want to do? Where I want to go? So I went back to school and chose IT, and because I kind of got into that once I was in Germany. And I realized, hey, I have a knack for this. Let me get into this technology IT thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to school, worked odds and in jobs until I got my degree, got my first job in the IT field, and just had been, started working in that industry ever since.
Okay. So at what point when did you create Vision
Vision
Writers?
Writers.
Right, Vision Writers. I know it was after your father passed, but
So that would have
how
been
many
about
years
5 years
ago?
ago.
5 years ago. And
Yep.
and what exactly do you do with at Vision Writers?
Right. So the idea is that, and it's really scripture based, that, write the vision, make it plain, and when you read it, you can run. That's really about execution.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we can't execute fully. We can't run because the vision isn't clear. And I saw that for myself. I had bits and pieces of, oh, I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that, kind of jumping around. But when you write that vision and you make that plain, you can really execute in a way that helps you to filter out things that are not for you. So Vision Writers is that vehicle to help individuals have clarity and conciseness and be very intentional about their moves. And when you have that clarity and that intention, life just gets really easy. It just gets better. You don't have to jump at everything because it's not for you. That whole idea, oh, this might be for me, or I should try that, or maybe I'll try it, maybe it'll work. No, what you have is what you want to do. Stick to
Mm-hmm.
it. So that's really the premise behind Vision Writers. And like I said, it's from blaming to blooming and from excuses to execution. Let's go.
So I'm assuming that the clarity doctor and the vision writers go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
So I have this philosophy that every single person on the planet is here for a specific sorry. Every single person is here for a specific reason. Now, some of us might jump around or get knocked around for a while, and unfortunately, not everyone get leaves here with clarity on what they were
Hmm.
supposed to. So many people leave here miserable. What people don't understand as well is that finding out, even knowing what that vision is, can bring you a certain level of joy. Now, for many people, getting to that process of knowing what is my purpose here, why am I here, what am I supposed to deliver, what is special about me, what's my path, why do I suffer this so much, why am I always in this kind of situation? For
Right.
people who are struggling with that, how do they even begin to get some clarity around moving forward?
So I have a framework that I take, prospects and clients through. So for other people, it may be different, but I know what worked for me, and that's all I got. Like it helped me. It helps people I work with. Just the process of getting their vision and being able to write it down and make it plain does a lot of uncovering for the individuals. And
Hmm.
so the framework that I use is called RAPID, RAPID.
I
And
assume that's an acronym.
you are absolutely correct in your assumption. Um,
Okay, what does it
and
mean?
so it stands for reach,
Hmm.
REACH, audience, pain or passion, identity, and desired results. And what that is that gives individuals a framework where I actually ask them specific questions. So once they have the answers, a vision statement is written from those five pillars or five keys. So, for example, reach. So you're a brand, you're a business owner, you're someone who wants to make an impact. You like helping people. So the first thing I like to start out is say, what's your reach? How big of an impact do you really want to make? If you're honest,
Hmm.
own it. Just think about it. Like we tend to, start out with something and mentally we want to creep forward, go real slow, kind of feel our way, very hesitant, very, not real sure, but I want to do something. So we make these very small moves. We're not, we don't want to, I don't want to make a mistake. That's always in the back of our head. So instead of doing that, why don't we just come out of the gate and say, I want this impact, period. Don't
Period.
ask how.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know how. That's not what we're supposed to do. What do you
Yeah.
want? Literally, what do you want?
Hmm.
Exhale, inhale, and say, and I ask, do you want to be global, worldwide, international,
Hmm.
local? What is it? Which one of those, when you hear it, makes you say, oh my God, that word
That's me.
international touches me. That word
Yeah.
global touches me. It speaks to my spirit. It makes me
Right.
smile and glow like you're doing right now because it hit you. You're like, yes, that's me. I am a
Hmm.
global whatever. I'm aligned with Sharika. I have a global impact. And you say that once that's in your spirit, it shifts you. Now you're not just thinking small. That's why it says write the vision, make it plain, and then when you read it, you can run. So instead of crawling, stumbling in the dark as if you're not sure what you want to do, but pretending like we are, because we do it, we have to put on that. But knowing what you want is huge.
Yeah.
So just to be able to say, I'm global, that shifts you right there. You don't have to figure that out anymore. Then the next thing is audience. So now that you're global, you know that you want to be global, then you say, well, who do I want to reach? Who are the people that I want to impact? Who are the people that naturally are drawn to me, and I'm naturally drawn to, and you're naturally drawn to them, and you don't have to sell yourself. They just kind of rock with you automatically. So going through each of those things, answering those questions, I'm listening, I'm digging, I'm asking thought-provoking questions, and then at the end, I'm like, all right, got it. Write you this statement, and boom, now you have a vision statement. So that's just what Vision Writers does.
So talk about the pain or the passion. What's the pain or the passion?
Pain and passion. So I believe that the majority of us, most of us, we've gone through some very painful things. And that is the core, the burning desire of change. It's the catalyst. Like something happened, it hurt really bad, and now the rest of my life is spent either trying to heal, recover from that pain, or help someone else recover or heal from that pain. That's kind of the cornerstone, those two things. And so understanding what your own pain is and being able to tell a short story around that pain to that audience is powerful. Like for me, my pain was I blamed my dad for everything, and everything was his fault. And then to realize it was never his fault. It was never his presence or absence that was going to make my life better. And then to be able to say, oh, you had it inside you the whole time, that you could have made these decisions. You could have, did the work. You could have figured it out. But instead of doing that, you took your energy and blamed someone else. I was like, man, like
I get it. Yeah, I get it. I know what you mean.
That's the pain. Now, obviously, there's other pain points, in my life and in our lives, but that's the one that I spent most of my life saying, dang, if I would have had a dad, if he would have been around. Letting that go and shifting and transforming that into a business was huge. And I believe we all have something that we can transform into some sort of entrepreneurial pursuit to help others.
Yeah, I agree. Now, the big one, identity.
Yes. Vision and identity go together because,
agreed.
Who you see yourself being,
as,
who you see is what you see yourself as is tied to where you see yourself going. And so to be able to say, I am whatever. And I take people through, I usually, when I ask the question, is like, who are you? What's your identity? Answer that question in like an ER word, because I feel like it's tied to the things you love doing. So whether it's being a teacher, a writer, a counselor, a dancer, a singer, any of those things, right? Nothing is wasted. Any of those things, or all of those things, are things that are on the inside that we really love doing. And I feel like that's tied to our identity when you say, I am. This is what I am. And even if you haven't done it yet, if it's a burning desire on the inside to do it, then claim it. Like, if it's burning, that's your I am. I am A. See yours. Like a lot of them I talk to, they'll be like, wow, I never saw myself as that. But it's what you do, and you've been doing it for 30 years. How do you not see yourself as? I never knew. I just been helping people, and I just been counseling to them. I just been talking to them, but I didn't know that's what I was. Yeah, that's who you are. And the light comes on. They take ownership, and then they're like, oh, okay. Well, since that's who I am, where should I go? Now the vision opens up, and wherever you go, you show up as that. And the thing with the vision and the identity, no matter what physical location you're in, you can take it with you. I mean, it's so grounding. Like, I don't care if I'm in Jamaica, if I'm in California, if I'm in Russia, who I am is the same. I don't have to become someone else, but I take that vision and identity with me.
For persons who don't understand, because identity is something that people struggle with fundamentally, right? Many people, especially young people, that's why we're so easily drawn in that direction or that direction, because we are kind of shaky on the fundamental, on the foundation part, which is the identity. Explain, why is knowing what that is so important, especially if you're a parent and you're getting ready to send your teenager out there to be on their own, going to college, choosing a career path, choosing what they want to do, understanding themselves. Explain why this identity, because identity crisis is a thing. Explain why it's so important to know who you are, what you are about, where you want to go, and where you come from. Explain that part.
Right. So it's about being able to take ownership. So having ownership of who you are means that you get to utilize your unique passions, your unique talents, your unique personality. It's allows you to not shift and keep changing when you're in a different environment.
Mm-hmm.
You become unstable at that point. No one knows who you are because at any given day, you're going to change or you could change because you don't know who you are. So knowing who you are, having that identity, one, gives you stability, and then one, especially as a business owner or somebody who's entrepreneurially driven, they now can associate you with something specific or particular. They know, hey, that's the clarity doctor. I can come to him for vision. I can come to him for perspective. I can come to him for clarity. And that's who I am. And when I know that, someone can say, hey, you want to do this multi-level marketing thing? Hey, you want to, go over here and sell Avon? You want to come over here and do this crypto? Hey, you want to come? No, that's not who I am. I don't like that. I don't want to do that. I have my own thing that I'm building and I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy. Does
Yeah,
that make sense? That's identity.
it does. It does. It does. Because there's so many things, especially if you're on Facebook and you're in those groups and so on. So many people are pulling at you. Come over there, come over here, see this great opportunity. Come over here, see this great opportunity. This is happening. You can make millions of dollars. You can make $1,000 a day. So many people are pulling you in different directions. So that is definitely important that, when you step out there, be sure about what you're about. And that's why I mentioned young people, teenagers, young adults. That's why many of them get on the bad side of the law or get in the wrong company, because they don't have that sense of identity for themselves. They don't know
Yeah.
what they're about. So the first little thing, for a friend call and say, okay, let's go hang out at the club. What kind of club is it? You don't ask. You don't know. You just go because your friend says to come along. So it's
Yeah.
important that we know what we're about and where we want to go. So the desired results now, how important is that?
So results driven, outcome motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Results and outcome for me are huge. I can't just do something because of completing the activity. I got to know why. What's it? What's the outcome? What am I going to get? Where will I end up by doing X, Y, or Z?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is for people who are like me, you know, results driven, outcome driven. So I'm constantly looking at, all right, what is the outcome of what I'm doing? What is the result of what I'm doing? Not just, okay, I need to do it and check it off, but when I do it, what will I end up with? How will it change the world? What will the world be like if or when I get this outcome? That's outcome, desired result. So what do you want out of being aligned with Sharika? What is the outcome? At the end of the day, what problem and solution will be solved, and what will the world be like after you've solved it? What is that? This outcome is going to take place, and that, I believe, is motivational. That's inspirational. That's exciting. So now it's a shift in perspective, because you're constantly thinking, like Jesus said, you know, he said, for the joy that was set before me, he endured the cross. It's that joy that he saw that would be achieved and would be obtained, and the salvation of mankind. It was for the joy. He knew it. Like, I'm going to this cross, I'm suffering all this. He wasn't looking at the pain. It was like, no, it's that joy before me when I look back and see the whole world now having access to grace because of my death. So I can endure it now because I'm constantly thinking about the joy. Well, that's outcome. That's result-based living. That's result-based working. That's flowing in just, this result is going to happen. So that's what desired result is.
I must add that that desired results too also helps with the identity and the entire vision, because when you get up in the morning and you're going to do something and you look at it and you say, how is this going to impact what I want to do on a daily basis? And you look at it, and if you evaluate that and you don't see any way that it's going to add to you as an individual, and then at the end of the day add to your business and to the outcome that you want to create, then you can just say, I don't need to do this. This is not beneficial to me. It might be beneficial to you, but it's not going to serve me in what I do. So there is no point in me taking on this activity. So definitely important in that regard. What impact does Timothy Moore and vision writers want to make on the world?
So I can start with just by kind of sharing the vision statement for vision writers, which is to be the global leader in the creation of vision statements that inspire and facilitate community growth and economic development.
Okay, repeat that.
The global leader in the creation of vision statements that inspire and facilitate community growth and economic development. So, because, like I said, the philosophy of, you know, the company is write the vision and make it plain, and when you read it and you can run. And then without a vision, people perish and lose restraint. When you put those together, vision gives you discipline. It restrains you. And so
it does.
If
It
if every person had vision and they knew exactly what they wanted to achieve and what they wanted to fulfill, all of humanity would move forward because we're all connected. So there are people who were waiting for me to launch Vision Writers. And once I launched, they leveled up and launched. And then there were people that were waiting for them, and they leveled up and launched. That's why I said all of humanity moves up together. So now, economically, we're all tapped into who we are and what we have as value and what we offer. Now there's exchange. There's economy exchange. Now you see my value, you give me value, we return value, we come up. And now we start building with one another because you have something valuable to offer. That's why I say, you know, economic development. You have people in your country right now that are sitting on valuable nuggets that haven't launched, that you need, that I need, and they're sitting on it.
That's true. That's true. I must testify to what you said, and I'm big on vision, and that was one of the first reasons why I connected with you when I heard you speak the first time, because of the vision. Because I understand how powerful that vision is. I have a statement. I should probably get it. What's that word? Don't remember. But I have that. I have a vision. It says I have this statement that I always use: purpose drives and vision pulls. Because when you know exactly where you are going, you have to put the work in. I'm not saying you don't have to do the work, but having that vision and having that passion and drive, knowing where you're going, somehow it pulls you to the right people, it pulls you in the right direction, and those people get pushed in your direction as well. I have this client that I met through a presentation that I did, and he was having trouble sleeping, right? Remember, one of my specialty is mental wellness. So we had a talk and so on and so forth. And now he thanks me almost every day because he can sleep now. He has no trouble sleeping anymore. He's getting better, but he has less trouble sleeping. And now that he has less trouble sleeping, he can be a better person for the people that he works with. And so my work impacted his work, and now his work is going to impact the other people that are around him. And it's like a butterfly effect, right? You tap one butterfly and the other, and that butterfly flaps his wing, and the others start to flap their wings too, because each person, he's a manager. So each person that he has to each person's life that he has to touch on a daily basis is gonna touch somebody else's life and somebody else's life. So if he's better able to sleep, he's better able to manage his people. And if he does that very well, then those people should be better off at the end of the day because he's doing his job well. And if those people are better off, then the people that they're interacting with will be better off, and it goes on and on and on. So that's really, really important what you said there. I like it, and I love the direction that you're going in. A question that I want to ask you, and I think it goes perfectly with what we've been discussing, is when you look in the mirror, what do you see?
I love it. I see peace.
Peace.
I see peace. I see fulfillment. I see purpose. I see talent.
Yes.
I see potential. I see intention. That's what I see. And it feels good because I didn't always see that.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I see value. You know,
I get that. Yeah.
I see change. I see growth. Like, it's just all words of just next level of, you know, just progression. Just having vision, knowing that at the end, there's a reason for me being here. There's a reason. And I see it, you know, going back to, you know, the global leader. And obviously, not going to say obviously, but definitely understanding that we're all intentional from God. So knowing that he's given us desires of our heart, like he's placed something in there that we just have to do the work to find, to uncover. But it's
Yeah.
inside of us. And just, knowing that, and I'm part of that process. I'm just a piece.
Yeah. I love that. Now, how do you maintain that peace?
I'll go back to it. I love my vision. And so part of so I forgot who it was, but I believe it was Myron Golden. If you ever
Mm.
if you heard of him or checked him out.
I have. I have.
Okay. So he said something that really caught me. He said, for every solution, there's like 20, 30 more problems. So what has happened, and so it kind of leaned into this. So I have this vision statement. So I create vision statements for my clients and, write those down. But then I realized it's not just having the vision. Like, you don't just all of a sudden be amazing. You don't all of a sudden just get this piece. You don't all of a sudden. The next thing is I had to go and master your vision. So now that you have your vision, you have to go and master it. You have to become a Jedi Knight over your vision. It has to be plain to you. That's why I said, you have to be able to write that down and explain what each line of it means to you. It has to have meaning to you. So now the meaning of my vision has totally enamored, immersed me into that meaning. That's the meaning of my life. So if that's the meaning for my life, and if I stay in that vein and I'm conscious to stay in it, then I can maintain peace because I'm on purpose. I'm walking in function, the function of my life, because everything else that I thought had meaning, I've replaced it with, this is it. This is the meaning for my life. And so as long as I stay there, I have peace. I feel comfortable. So there's master your vision, which is a whole process of learning how to become one with your vision, how to use your vision to filter out all of the ups and downs of life. It's like, I don't care if this happens, I have meaning already. Then there's align with your vision. That's another one. There's Alignment Academy. I mean, so many different things that I've learned. Now I'm like, oh, okay, these are the other pieces. That's why, when he made sense, it's like, okay, it isn't just write your vision statement. There's more work to do. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely more work.
See, and you just use the word align, more alignment between us here.
Absolutely.
If you could say, this is my final question. I know you got somewhere to be. Now, if you could say something to somebody who is going to hear this and who may have been thinking that there is no purpose to their life and they just can't figure it out. They're feeling hopeless. What would you say to that person?
That's a good question. I feel like, I believe that words are everything. And if that person feels that way, one, it's not true. However, me just telling them that it's not true, because I'm sure other people have told them that as well. Other people have said, oh, you have purpose. And, you'll just kind of gloss over it and be like, yeah, whatever. You just, just saying that.
Yeah.
So it really boils down to, if you don't feel like you have purpose and you are hopeless, I would say, look at everything around you in this world. Look at the trees. Look at the rocks. Look at the animals. And really see that nothing in creation was created without intention.
Without purpose, yeah.
There was an intent for it. Look at your own body. And look at the systems, the nervous system, the reproductive system, the respiratory system. All of that was intentional. Your very being is
Is intentional. Yeah.
functionally purposeful.
Absolutely.
And so look at that if you want to, if you don't believe that you have purpose. Let that sink in and then ask yourself the question, well, if everything else has purpose, what is mine? And then open yourself up and expect the answer. Don't say you don't have purpose. Say, I don't know what it is. What is it? And then listen.
Okay, that was my last question for you, but we got a question from one of our viewers. So the question was, what's the difference between purpose and vision? So do you want to take that, or should I take that?
Well, whatever, it doesn't matter.
All right, you go ahead.
So I think, I get, and I'll answer that with another question, because the same question I get is, what's the difference between a vision and a goal? And
Mm-hmm.
vision, I always say, vision is you don't fulfill it. A goal, you fulfill it. You check it off. Vision is that thing that you always see and it continuously to inspire you.
Expand, and it expands
It,
too.
it just it just keeps going, and you can pass vision on to legacy. Martin Luther King, you pass the vision down. It gives people after you something to continue to work for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that, and it's kind of a matter of semantics, that becomes your purpose. My purpose for living,
This is
my
see this
reason,
through.
is to fulfill or to work on that vision.
Mm-hmm.
So the purpose comes out of that vision because you start realizing, oh, well, this is my purpose because you
Mm-hmm.
have that overall arching vision. If that, I hope that gives some clarity.
I don't think I could have done it better. And the amazing thing about that is when you find that vision and you find that purpose, that alone brings you joy. So you can be happy just knowing
Mm.
that you are doing, and it brings you fulfillment and all of that good stuff. So did that answer your question, Mr. Confidence? I'm just gonna call you that because I'm not sure what the rest of the name is saying. Did that
Oh
answer
yeah,
your
that's my
question?
guy. Confidence. Hit me up, bro.
All right. Okay. So, and Timothy, I want to thank you so much for being here with me today. I truly appreciated you coming
Thank
on.
you.
Um, it was a pleasure, and you made me laugh from the beginning.
I still haven't got any lighter, so I mean, I'm just a darky.
Just so naughty. Okay. So guys, thank you so much for watching. It was a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for your support.
Thank you
If
so
you're
much.
not following me here today, I am here every Thursday. The timing may shift. It may be in the afternoon or it may be in the morning because I try to be flexible. I have some other things going on, and my guests, I have to be accommodating to them as well. But I'm here every Thursday. I do my best to be here every Thursday. If I'm not here, then something crazy is going on. So if you are interested in hearing more stories like this, do not hesitate to follow me. And the Clarity Doctor is also a great person to follow because he'll definitely help you with finding that vision and creating that clarity for yourself, your life, your future, etc., etc. So I want to show you guys my book. It's called An Introduction to Freedom. And
Ooh,
it's all about, yeah, I know,
ooh.
shocking. Yeah, an introduction to freedom is your life is only your perception, right? And just like with Timothy, once he realized that blaming his father was not really the problem that he was having, his perception shifted. And once his perception shifted, his life changed. So that's what this little book is all about. It's not a reading book, it's an easy read, and it's a workbook. So I'm not giving you something that you're going to read and put down. I'm giving you something that you can work through. And through that process, you gain some clarity and you shift your perception, and it can change your life drastically once you put the work in. So pick up a copy. It's on Amazon. DM me if you need any help finding that, and I'll definitely send you the link. I'm here next week again with another amazing episode. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, Timothy. You have been watching Becoming Confident, Becoming Consciousness with Sharika, where spirits goes to find their soul. Have a pleasant rest of Thursday and weekend. Goodbye.